Hi, I'm Jeff Winter from Studio Cycles and StudioCycles.com, and in this YouTube video I want to talk to you about the 2011 Star Trac Spinner VELO. This is a 2011 Star Trac Spinner VELO, pro-built, pro-tuned. I love these YouTube videos from these fitness companies. They're like 20 or 30 seconds long, and there's rave music playing in the background and spotlights, and they're flashing up to the bike, and it's around and up close and back and forth, stopping and starting. What is that? What is that? This is a professionally built Star Trac Spinner VELO. We build and tune every single bike before we ship it. Any other company online you buy your bike from is going to process your credit card and send you a box. That's what they do. We take the bike out of the box, we build it, we tune it, we crack open the drivetrain, we do a drivetrain treatment on the bike before we ship it out. I mean, who does that? We do. We do it. I've built, tuned, and installed and refurbished tens of thousands of bikes. Bikes just don't come out of the box optimal. And I like offering lifetime warranties and lifetime parts replacement with the bikes I sell online. So I take nothing for granted on these bikes. So anyway, this is, again, the 2011 Star Trac Spinner VELO. And in this video, we're going to talk about proper bike setup. Okay? First thing to pay attention to with bike setup is leg extension. And with leg extension, you want the crank to be at 6 o'clock, like this one is. And when your butt's on the seat and the ball of your foot is over the pedal spindle, which is that silver dot right there with the Allen in the middle, that's the spindle. The pedal body rolls on the pedal spindle. Your foot's either going to be clipped in or your foot's going to be in the basket. The pedal's going to be somewhat level. And when your butt's in the seat and your leg is extended down to the pedal, you want a slight bend in your leg so that when you pedal and your leg and foot and ankle goes round and round and you hit what's called the bottom dead center of the pedal stroke, you have a good bend in your leg so that you don't hyperextend your leg. That's the most critical part of the bike setup. The second part of the bike setup is the seat slider position and where it should be relative to the seat tower. Now, to get a general idea how that goes, you want the pedals here so that the crank arms are horizontal with the ground. Your foot, again, is going to be on the pedal with the ball of your foot over the spindle, and there's the spindle right there underneath that dust cap. Crank arms horizontal. Doesn't matter which pedal which pedal is forward, whether it be the left or the right. The ball of your foot's over the spindle, and you should be able to look from the front of your kneecap straight down to the pedal spindle. That's a good indicator that the slider is in a relative position for good ergonomics on the bike. If you need to move the slider backwards or forward so that the front of your knee is more aligned with the pedal spindle straight up and down, do that. The second part of the slider equation is when your butt's on the seat and your hands are in hand position 2, which are here or here, you should have a slight bend in your elbows when you're riding the bike. And the reason that's important, when Johnny G created spinning, two things that were stressed, and it's still important to this day, are relaxation and rhythm and movement. And if you're in hand position 2 and your arms are completely extended and locked out, or your shoulders are extended, anything on your body that's extended or locked out, you're going to get fatigue instead of fluidity. So when you're able to grasp hand position 2 and you have a little bit of bend in your elbows, then you're able to have that upper body rhythm when you're doing your pedal stroke, which is important. So couple other keynotes about bike setup. Most people who are not serious cyclists, or they haven't been on a bicycle in a while, or if they haven't done a lot of spinning or indoor cycling classes, they'll tend to want to have their torso upright, almost completely erect. The problem with that is that you get spine compression and your torso weight rides on your tailbone. Nobody wants to ride like Lance Armstrong in a time trial in the Tour de France where you're hunched over. If you need to have your handlebars raised up a bit in the beginning of your program so that your lower back doesn't hurt or you don't provoke anything negative, feel free to do so. You can always readjust it. And keep in mind that a lot of professional cyclists and a lot of techno guys and techno gals will have a million parameters for bike setup. Keep in mind these are general parameters for bike setup. I've taught a lot of classes, and I've ridden hundreds of thousands of miles in my life on bicycles. So setup and ergonomics are very, very important to me, and it's also very important for a good program if you're doing it at home. You might also consider checking out spinning.com. They're the original company. They started, Mad Dog Athletics, they started spinning. They got a huge video library. The spinning videos are a great resource for bike setup, for guidelines, for proper positioning, etc., etc. If you want to buy one bike or you want to buy 50 bikes, give me a call personally. I own the company, but I talk to any customer who wants to talk to me about what might be the best choice for them. You can reach me at 888-909-BIKE or 818-470-2204. I'm Jeff Wimmer from Studio Cycles, and best of luck on your road to health and fitness.